Hey guys! So today I am coming at you just to tell you about something that a lot of people actually ask me about, especially when I meet them in person. So if this is your first time on my channel, I am a hairstylist and a model and a YouTuber, but my real job is I'm a hairstylist. And people always ask me, what salon do you work at? What salon do you work at? And I don't work at one salon. I freelance. So I am self-employed, and there is a reason for that. I definitely did not start off doing that. The reason I did that is because I had a really bad experience working at hair salons. So I guess this is kind of two story times in one, because I'm going to talk about the first time I kind of worked at a salon and the second time I really worked at a salon. So the first experience I had, I was 16. I got my permit to do hair when I was 16 and my license when I was 17. And I was willing to, put work in, start off kind of just like sweeping the floors when I was 16, just kind of work your way up, because usually you have to become an assistant. They won't just like put you right on the floor, especially if you're young, or right out of school. So there was a place like right near where I lived, so it would be easy for my mom to drive me there, because here at 16 you don't get your license, your driver's license, you only have your permit. So it was a chain, like, barbering kind of place. Like, it's not technically a salon. It is technically a salon, but it's really mostly like one of those like in and out like barbering places. Long story short, I went in. They like brought me to the back, and it was like really weird because they were back there like smoking cigars, and it was just like a super like smoky room, and they were just kind of like, it wasn't even really an interview. They were like, okay, well, just come and we'll have like a few training days and blah 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 blah. So I worked there for like 2.5 or 3 days, literally. That's it, because when I went in, all they had me do was sweep the floor and watch the other stylists, and they maybe had 5 clients throughout those 3 days. Like, it was that slow, and they just made me feel really uncomfortable. Like, it was like so smoky in there. They were always like smoking cigars, and I was just like a young kid, and they were all kind of like, they weren't from America. Like, that wasn't their native language. Like, English wasn't their native language, which is totally fine, but they never ever spoke in English, and I only understand English, so they would always just be speaking to each other in their native tongue, which again, totally fine, but it would have been nice to be like included sometimes. I just felt very out of place. Like, obviously, like, how someone who only spoke Spanish would feel if everyone around them was only speaking English, like, it's not their fault. I just personally felt uncomfortable because I just never knew what they were saying. I just never understood what they were saying, you know what I mean? And it's hard to work in a place where like you really can't understand each other. So it was just very strange, and it just was not a good fit. And they never paid me for the 3 days that I worked. And that was it. So onto like the real story. When I was 17, I got my driver's license and my license to do hair. I passed my state board, all that good stuff. So I went to a local salon, and the one good thing I will say about this place was that the owners were nice. Didn't know how to run a hair salon, but they were nice people, not bad people. So I go in and I bring like a printout. Like, I went and got a hair portfolio made, because at this point, like, I can work on the floor, and I expect to work on the floor like soon, you know what I mean? I expect to be a hairstylist, because at that point, I was trained in, like, I was licensed, and I was also like more highly certified than like a regular like entry-level stylist. Like, I was also certified in the keratin treatment and Brazilian blowout, which I don't even do, but I was certified in it. And I was also in the process of getting certified in extensions. So I was, highly certified, but pretty highly certified for a 17-year-old girl. So I printed out, my portfolio. I brought it in, showed the owner, and he hired me on the spot. And he was like, just so you know, we're going to start you off as an assistant, and then you'll be a stylist. Pretty much is how it worked. So I was like, perfect, sounds great. So I started working there, and I just want to like kind of give you an idea of what I looked like then. I didn't have any tattoos. I only had piercings, so I had snake bites, my septum, and a stud in both sides of my nose, and those were the only piercings that I had. And I had stretched ears. They were probably around this size. But I didn't have any tattoos. Yeah, so that's what I looked like, and I was the only person working in the salon that looked like that. That was really alternative. There were a couple of like older stylists that were like almost alternative in the sense where like they had like like a bunch of ear piercings, but not really. You know what I mean? Like they were like a really like conservatives person's view of alternative, but they weren't truly like, you know. So I don't even know where to start. I'm gonna try and condense this as much as possible, but I pretty much knew right away that this was going to be pretty torturous. There was a head assistant, which was someone who wasn't trained in hair at all and basically like could never become a stylist, so she just stayed an assistant, which is fine, but she called herself like the head assistant just because she's the person who stayed an assistant the longest. And this woman was evil. Like everything I did was not right. Like the way I folded the towels wasn't right. The way I did this wasn't right. The way I cleaned this wasn't right. She would literally like make me practice sweeping the floor. Like I know how to sweep hair. Everyone does it different. Everyone holds a broom different. Everyone holds a pencil different. You can still write perfectly fine even if you hold a pencil different from someone else, but she didn't like the way I held the broom when I was sweeping. You guys, I'm like literally not even kidding. So she would like sit there and be like, watch what I do, like sweep the hair like this. And I'm just like, I know how to fucking sweep hair. Like I'm an actual hairstylist. Like you're not. You think I don't know how to fucking sweep hair? Like I know I can get the hair in a fucking dustpan. Like literally everything I did was wrong, and every single day she just like fucking like just jabbed me a little more, and I had to just like suck it up and be nice, and I just could not stand her. And no one could, like no one could stand her, because anytime someone came in to like get their hair done, she would like just like take all of the fucking like clients, like just wash their hair, so no one was making any money. And PS, by the way, I was making $6.50 an hour, $6.50 an hour plus tips, but I would, if I was lucky, I would maybe get $10 in tips for the day. Okay? And they took $5 out of our paycheck for tips, which I barely made back. Usually I'd be going home with $3 in my pocket. So there's that. But it wasn't just her that made my like life hell working there. It was the other, like it was the actual stylists working there. So some of them were nice. Obviously, like don't get me wrong, I know some of them are probably gonna see this, like not all of you are evil. I was cool with some of you, but some of you guys literally made my fucking life hell, and you were judgmental and rude. People did not understand, like, I'm not kidding, I worked there for a year, and every single day, one of the stylists that I saw, like, several times a week would be, like, just interrogating me on my piercings. Like, why did you do that? Why do you do that every time I did my hair? Why'd you put that color in your hair? Why are you wearing your hair like that? Why are you doing this? Why are you wearing that? Like, I don't understand. Like, why do you look the way you do? And I was just like, you guys, leave me the fuck alone. Like, it's insane. Like I'll never forget one day I wanted to wear fake eyelashes. It was like the first time wearing fake eyelashes, and you know, like the first time you use lashes, like you're not good at it, like they'll be popping off in the corners and the glue's coming off, whatever. So I'm working and I go up to one of the stylists who's also a makeup artist, and I'm like, do you have any eyelash glue? Like my lashes are popping off. And he's like, yeah, sure. He was really nice. And he's like, yeah, I'll fix your lashes for you. The rest of the fucking stylists, I'm not kidding, literally stopped what they were doing to gather around watching this. And they're just looking at me, they're like, why are you wearing fake eyelashes? Where are you going? What are you doing after this? Like, why are you wearing fake eyelashes? And I was just like, I don't know, I wanted to wear them. And for the rest of like the rest of the time that he was like fixing my eyelashes, people still kept coming up to me and asking me, why are you wearing fake eyelashes? To the point where literally the stylist helping me turn around, he's like, she just wanted to fucking wear eyelashes today. You guys don't play with makeup? Like he even got like, he was like, you guys need to literally back off of her, like leave her alone. So it was that kind of environment where everything I did was just like attacked and questioned to a point where it was unbearable to be around. And as much as I tried to suck that up, it also got to the point where I felt like the stylists were like abusing my skills almost. Like, so no matter what we did as an assistant, the stylist would get paid for the service. So like if a stylist was busy, she'd be like, oh, can you just like blow out my client really quick? So the stylist would get paid for a blowout, not me. You know what I mean? Like, because it's their client, it's not my client, which is bullshit. Like, I should be getting at least the tip for that service, if not paid for the service. And then it kept growing from there. So I wasn't just doing blowouts and getting no money for it. They were like, oh, I'm just gonna like throw some color on my client's roots. Can you just run it through the ends? And I'm like, okay, so I'm doing a single process. You know, like they'd put it from here to here, and then I'd have to put it on the rest of their hair. It's like, I'm doing the service at that point. I should be getting the tip or I should be getting paid. And then it got even worse where they're like, oh, can you just throw the color on her roots and I'll be right back to run it through her ends. And then they'd be like, oh wait, no, I actually don't have time. So can you just run it through her ends also? So I'd be doing a full single process color on a person, putting it in their hair, washing them out, everything. Maybe sometimes getting the tip, but usually not. Usually the stylist would get the entire tip and every time get paid for the service. I never got paid for a service that I did, not once in the entire year that I was there doing that. And I was only actually performing services towards like the end, but because I was an assistant, like I wasn't getting money for it. And the right thing to do with like in that situation, which most stylists would do, would they would just give you some money for doing it. They would like give you part of the service or they would just give you the tip because you did it, you know what I mean? So that was like the last fucking straw for me. And also there was another stylist, not a stylist, there was another assistant there with a similar name as me. And people would always get our names confused. So when they went up to the front to tip, they would always write the other girl's name. Even though she didn't do their hair, I was always washing the hair, they would write her name and she would get my tips and she knew it and she would fucking keep the tips anyway, instead of giving them to me knowing that it was the person, you know, whose hair I did or whose hair I washed, which was like so fucked up. Like don't, like we're not making money, like we're barely making fucking money, like you can't give me the tips that I rightfully earned. Like that's not fair. So that's another one of the reasons why I barely made tips, because someone else was taking them. It was so crazy. And so after a year I really started getting fed up. I like kind of just kept making like other people take my shifts for me, and I started being pretty nasty to the people I was working with because I was like, I can't do this anymore. I literally can't do it. So to the point where they were giving me basically no hours. So I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to be put back on the schedule. Like, we kind of mutually agreed, like, this isn't working for me, so we can stop this now. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was it. And, you know, from that moment on, I was like, I'm going to be my own boss. I'm going to do my own thing, and I'm not going to be criticized, and I'm going to take the credit that I deserve for my work and the money that I deserve for my work. And it's funny because like now I'm more highly certified than any of the people that worked in that salon. I'm certified in like 6 different kinds of extensions, like all different things that only like one person there was certified in extensions. So it's like the joke's on them. I have the last laugh anyway, and I don't have to go into a salon where it's like fucking high school every single day. Like, thank God. And I'm not saying all salons are like this. Like, it's definitely not like that. But the area that I live in is super like, the people are just like judgmental and stuff. And in order to work in like a salon environment where I'd be happy, I would have to be like somewhere completely different. Maybe like a more urban or city environment. Like, just not here. It just doesn't work. And freelancing works for me perfectly. So I'll take that. So that's just my experience. I don't want this to discourage any, you know, kid or person who's new into the industry. You know, I don't want this to persuade you either way. I want you to still try and go for it and try working in a salon, because it's not all bad. Like, trust me, it's really not. Like, I just wanted to share my experience because a lot of people always ask me, like, why do you hate hair salons so much? So I'm bitter. I'm still bitter about it. Years later, I'm 25 now. I stopped working there when I was 18, so definitely still bitter. But yeah, that's just my experience. I hope you enjoyed listening to it. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I don't think I've ever said that in my life, but do it. Okay, stay sassy. Bye.